All right. Let's go ahead and get into it. Shalom Yasharala or Shalom Israel. Priest and Officer 5000 Kasar Pakad. This is the Tuesday night Brotherhood class. IGBK Northern California. We're going to go get straight into it. Go ahead and get straight into it tonight. The title of tonight's class is Brotherhood Saves Lives. Right? Why is that important to know? Brotherhood saves lives in so many ways. I'm gonna get into this topic a little bit tonight, but I'm gonna get into it even more throughout the week. I may do tomorrow's class. I may do, or for sure gonna do Thursday night's class. But one situation that comes to mind in recent times, how brotherhood could save lives in so many different ways, through the laws of God, through the laws, statutes, and commandments that are in the Bible, is a situation going on with Lil Durk out of Chicago, right? Let me see right here. Let's go ahead, go straight to the law. Leviticus. Let's go to Leviticus chapter 19 and verse 1. All right. I'm talking about brotherhood. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto all the congregation of the children of Israel, and say unto them, Ye shall be holy, for I, the Lord your God, am holy. Right? We drop down to verse 15. Ye shall do no unrighteousness in judgment. Thou shalt not respect the person of the poor, nor honor the person of the mighty, but in righteousness shalt thou judge thy neighbor. Verse 17. Let's drop down a little bit. Matter of fact, let's go to verse 16. Thou shalt not go up and down as a talebearer among thy people, neither shalt thou stand against the blood of thy neighbor. I am the Lord. This is a problem that we have in the Black, Hispanic, and Native American community. We don't have these rules right here. We don't have these laws right here. We don't know how to have righteous judgment in our communities. It says, Thou shalt not respect the person of the poor, nor honor the person of the mighty. This is the situation we have with rappers, celebrities, people that have millions of dollars, people that are famous. We have a respect for them. We honor them, and we don't care about the poor. So, situation like like I said, I don't want to go too much into it tonight on my main topic of what happened here with Lil Durk, King Von, Quando, Rondo, whoever else is involved, was the NBA Young Boy, all these cats. These are the main figures that you hear about in this situation. But when you go to the root cause of it, you find out it was a lack of brotherhood. It was a lack of order. It was a lack of decency. It was a lack of laws in how these brothers were dealing with each other. They didn't have any rules in how they were dealing with each other. And this is the result that you get of a lawless nation, right? But you get famous people like King Von, like a Lil Durk, and the entire Black community, or, not the entire, but you know what I mean? The brothers just look up to these cats. The majority of the music fans, they glorify them. But at the same time, these brothers are out here going out and harming people in our community. Literally, serial killers are paying serial killers to go out and harm our brothers and sisters. And we still gonna say, free this man, free that man, rest in peace to this brother, rest in peace to that man, because we don't care about our people in our nation. Now, I'm gonna say this from the truth standpoint, right? I pray that they all can be saved. You understand that the Lord can deliver them and give them a second chance if they're still living and still breathing, to have a way to repent and turn their life around. Yeah, in some instance, if the Lord see fit, I will say, yeah, free Lil Durk. You understand what I'm saying? Free him, because I know our oppressor deserves to be in chains more than he does. I know our oppressor is more of a murderer and a killer and a rapist and a robber and a murderer than any of the brothers that they try to pin with all of this stuff. You understand? But at the same time, I know the Lord has known the children of Israel. These other nations, he has not known them. He has held us to a higher standard, so we cannot lower ourselves to be like them. and to expect to get the same treatment as them. And so this is why these things catch up to a young man that could have an entirely different life, right? But all right, let's keep going. Verse 17, the book of Deuteronomy, Leviticus 19, verse 17. Thou shalt not hate thy brother in thine heart. Thou shalt in any wise rebuke thy neighbor and not suffer sin upon him. Right? Let me see what comes up too. Let me see what comes up with this right here. Because when it comes to Islam, this scripture is going to be read in a completely different way. Because in their mind, there's no difference between the God of the Bible and the God of the Quran. And so they can read scriptures from the Bible. This is a completely different dynamic when Islam comes into play. So these are the things that these cats in Chicago, all over the rap industry from the East Coast to the West Coast have been indoctrinated with the Islamic faith. But it's not saving our people. Because, let's see, what is it? Let's see what we get right here. Yeah, see, there it goes right here. Let's see. Mm-hmm. So we got Akia or Ake, brotherhoods, were the Sufi guilds of young men dedicated to the betterment of the community, focused around Anatolia and the lands that would become the Ottoman Empire. Etymology: the term Aki, derived from the Arabic word for brother, carries a particular religious connotation derived from the Quran, which instructs the believers are but brothers. Specifically, the brother was the leader of the organization as chosen by his fellow members, who were known as fityan or youths. Let's see anything else on that. I think that's enough right there to describe. Let's see. Here we go. No, right. But going back into this, right? In Islam, a brother is someone that is a believer. A brother is someone that is a part of your religion. So you can see how this one verse right here can be so powerful in one way, it can be so evil in another way, just by changing the definition, right? So the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 19, verse 17, thou shalt not hate thy brother in thine heart. Thou shalt in any wise rebuke thy neighbor and not suffer sin upon him. So the Bible says it's unlawful to hate thy brother in thine heart. Thou shalt in any wise rebuke thy neighbor and not suffer sin upon him. You got to correct your brothers and not allow them to live in sin. And you cannot hate your brothers in your heart. Now, if this was talking about being a Muslim, then what does that mean? You cannot hate another Muslim in your heart. You can't suffer any sin upon to let another Muslim do sin. But guess what? You can let another black man do sin. You can hate another black man in your heart if you believe in Islam, right? If you worship that rock. The Bible is calling the children of Israel to follow the law, statutes, commandments. This is for a nation of people. We are all brothers in our nation. All blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans are brothers according to the Bible. And we're not allowed to hate each other. And this is the downfall of men like King Von, like Lil Durk, like NBA Youngboy or Quando Rondo or his cousin that got killed. You understand, in all these situations. Verse 18, thou shalt not avenge nor bear any grudge against the children of thy people, but thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. I am the Lord. Like these things, you're not allowed to go out and avenge the death of one of your close relatives just because you feel slighted. Even in our own kingdom, there was a way for us to handle these things, to run it through our leadership, our court systems, through the priests, right? And get justice in that manner. But you're not allowed to just go and kill another black man, another Latino man, because of some situation that happened. We're taking vengeance in our own hands. It's in direct contradiction of what the Bible teaches us. And so this is why this book can fix our problems. This is why the Quran is toilet paper. This is why the Quran can't do a goddamn thing for our people, because the laws in it, for one, are not made for our people. For two, the laws in it are not designated for our people. The laws in the Quran are designated for all people, for all nations, right? Anybody can join and become a Muslim. If you white, if you Asian, if you African, if you or whatever, you East Indian, you can be considered a brother to someone in Islam, and your own people, the people you grew up with in your neighborhood, will be seen as an infidel, right? So we got the word what the Muslims call a brother, Aki or whatnot, and we know it's interesting that in the Hebrew, in the ancient Hebrew, we say Ak, Akim, right? Akia, and they say Aki or Akia. We know that this language came from our father Abraham, came from our great grandfather Eber, or who was known as a Hebrew, Ibaria, right? These things prove that the Bible is real because the language that has been passed down, they still keep remnants of the language of the ancient Lashawan Kodash. Let's see, infidel definition. An infidel, a person who does not believe in religion or who adheres to a religion other than one's own. So if you adhering to a religion other than one's own, like I believe in this, you don't believe in that, you are considered an infidel. That is, I don't know where that's at, right? In the Bible. And that's what even Christ came to resurrect, bringing the two sticks back together, because we started to take on the mannerisms of the heathens and the nations around about us that began to call our brothers Gentiles. We began to call them heathens. It's the same spirit of looking at them as an infidel. Now imagine Yahushua came in order for us to have brotherhood with our people and to forgive our people, to turn the other cheek, right? To love our enemies in our neighborhoods, to love these cats that have harmed our family members. And you still got a religion 2,000 years later saying, hey, these people over here are heathens. These people over here are Gentiles. These are not your brothers because they don't believe what you believe in. That's not what Yahushua died for. And the story that we have from Christ is able to heal all of the trauma in the Black community. This is why everyone is like, man, how could this cat lose millions of dollars, give up the opportunity, won a Grammy award? You understand? World renowned, can travel anywhere in the world, can have any woman in the world, can have any, food he wants to eat, any drugs he wants to take, any liquor he wants to drink. He can go out and live his life however he wants to live it forever. He gave it up because of hatred, because of a lack of brotherhood, because he could not take a loss of someone he loved and forgive another black man for that. And that's because he followed the religion of a wild man. He followed the religion of the Arabs who believe if they go out and blow themselves up, they can get 70 virgins. They come from a wild man's religion, and you put it in the black community, and just like anything black people do, we touch it, we're gonna do the best. We're gonna be the best or whatever. If y'all are telling me you can be violent and harm other people in Islam, then black people are gonna be the most religious and most sanctified Islam or on their deen. I would say it like that. You're gonna be the most on your deen Muslim and the most killing, dope dealing, and pimping ass Negro to touch the planet, all with the Quran in your hand. You understand? That's how we're going to do these things. That's why we are not supposed to partake in any of these other heathen religions or heathen customs, right? All right, let's see. Let's go to get that one real quick too. So Exodus 20. This is the foundation and one of the most important laws. We go to Exodus chapter 20 and verse 1. And the Most High spake all these words, saying, I am the Lord thy power, which hath brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. That's what the Lord said. When you partake in these other religions, you put another God over you. You put these other people over you. You put their ways and their customs over you. You put their struggle and their how would I say, their lack of brotherhood over you as well. Matter of fact, I saw a comedian last night. He was an East Indian. He was talking about, see, we think we're the only people on planet Earth that hate each other. These other nations don't care about each other either. He was saying that the white people, their version of racism is predicated on people that are another race or another complexion. He said in Asia and East India, we hate people that look just like us. The East Indians hate the Pakistanis hate the East Indians, the Bangladesh hate the Sri Lankans hate the this and the that. You understand? You got the North Koreans versus South Koreans. You got the Vietnamese, North Vietnam versus South Vietnam, etc. You got who else? China versus Japan, China versus Taiwan and Tibet. Like these other nations hate each other. And when we follow their gods, we get that same spirit upon us as well, man. Our God is about having brotherhood. I'm gonna keep going on. So let's drop down to verse 14, the book of Exodus, chapter 20 and verse 14. Thou shalt not commit adultery. This is important right here. This is a law that could save thousands, if not millions of lives moving forward. I will go into the millions of lives in so many different ways, man. Millions of lives that are lost in abortions, millions of lives that are lost in gang wars that go around one woman dealing with multiple men. That's exactly what happened in this situation with King Von, Lil Durk. So let's go to a few things. We're gonna get to a couple of precepts. Won't hold it too long. I know we had a late start, Salakia, but Let's start at. Let's go to Genesis chapter 20 and verse 12. Let's see. The book of Genesis chapter 20, starting verse 1. And Abraham journeyed from thence toward the south country and dwelled between Kadesh and Shur, and sojourned in Gerar. And Abraham said of Sarah his wife, she is my sister. And Abimelech, king of Gerar, sent and took Sarah. But the Most High came to Abimelech in a dream by night and said to him, behold, thou art but a dead man for the woman which thou hast taken, for she is a man's wife. The Lord said, you are a dead man, because this woman you are dealing with is another man's wife, right? And so Abraham was being a coward. He was in fear of this man, Abimelech, and being in this foreign land, right? So he wanted to tell him that this was his sister in order to save his life, in order to save her virtue. But in reality, he was going to be willing to turn her into a whore just to save his life. Sometimes you got to just be willing to die. You got to have certain morals and standards, no matter what it is. If your life is on the line, then go ahead and lose that life and die like a man instead of living like a coward and letting this other man have your wife. Another thing he should have done, he should have trusted in the Lord to say, hey, I'm going to tell these people that this is my wife, this is not my sister, and I'm going to trust in the Lord to deliver me out of the hands of these heathens, right? But let's keep going. Verse 4, but Abimelech had not come near her, and he said, Lord, wilt thou slay also a righteous nation? Said he not unto me, she is my sister, and she herself said, he is my brother. In the integrity of my heart and innocency of my hands have I done this. Like he's a heathen. He said, even in the integrity of my heart, I would have not touched this man's wife. I would have not dealt with her knowing that she was the property of another man, right? And you know that he didn't live with her, and that's how he didn't commit adultery with her, and he didn't make her his wife because he did not sleep with her. Let's see. Verse 6. And the Most High said unto him in a dream, yea, I know that thou didst this in the integrity of thy heart, for I also withheld thee from sinning against me. Therefore suffered I thee not to touch her. Like, damn, the Lord put a spirit on him that he would have got it in. He would have made her his wife. But the Lord prevented him from even having the spirit to get it on with Sarah at that time, because he knew that was Abraham's wife. And verse 7, now therefore restore the man his wife, for he is a prophet, and he shall pray for thee, and thou shalt live. And if thou restore her not, know thou that thou shalt surely die, thou and all that are thine. The Lord's going to kill everything involved with you. Not only you, he's going to kill everything that is yours, your woman, your children, your cattle, your cows, everything, because you have done this great evil by sleeping with this brother's woman. And knowing that the Lord put that in the laws that thou shalt not commit adultery. And we'll find out what adultery is according to Zondervan. Then we'll read it a little bit more further down. See what the Zondervan Bible Dictionary says. This is important. In the Christian church, they bastardized the meaning of the word adultery and have used it to their advantage to trick silly women, right, into believing that you need a ring in order to be married, to trick silly women into giving all of their money to these filthy pastors because they don't have a man to rule over them, like the Bible says, and to show them how gullible they're being, how naive they are being, how nigh or close they are being to Eve. All right. In the Old Testament, adultery. In the Old Testament, yeah. In the Old Testament, sexual intercourse, usually of a man, married or unmarried, always with the wife of another, right? Always with the wife of another. That's what adultery was. It means you are dealing with the wife of another man. Doesn't matter if the man is married or unmarried. If he has a wife or he doesn't have a wife, if you sleep with someone else's wife, you have committed adultery. And it says the punishment for both man and woman was death. And you can find that in Leviticus 20 and 20, 18 and 20, probably by stoning, right? Let's see. And a sidebar, the Old Testament always also uses adultery as a figure for idolatrous worship. And this is another thing, like the spirit of someone that's going to sleep with another man's wife is the same spirit that we are supposed to realize is happening when we go worship other gods. How disgusted you would feel as a husband to see your wife go and deal and sleep with another man is the same way the Lord looks at the children of Israel when we go and lay with these other nations, metaphorically, and we sleep with them and we follow their ways and get behind them, right? And that's so important because what the Bible is expressing spiritually is that when a woman lays with a man, she is submitting to that man. If the children of Israel are supposed to be the rulers of the planet Earth, when you follow another nation's gods, you are submitting to that nation. You are letting them dominate you. Why don't you have your own God? Why don't you have your own way? Because you are becoming a whore to these other nations. And so it's so deep in so many levels, but I digress. Let's go back to this. In the book of Genesis, chapter 20, verse 7, I'll read this again. Now, therefore, restore the man his wife, for he is a prophet, and he shall pray for thee, and thou shalt live. And if thou restore her not, know thou that thou shalt surely die, thou and all that are thine. Therefore, Abimelech rose early in the morning and called all his servants and told all these things in their ears. And the men were sore afraid. Then Abimelech called Abraham and said unto him, what hast thou done unto us? And what have I offended thee, that thou hast brought on me and on my kingdom a great sin? Thou hast done deeds unto me that ought not to be done. He don't want no parts of this. You told me this is your sister. I thought I got a new rib or a potential rib. I'm going to rib up. And you brought this great sin upon me. These type of things can not only destroy me and my family, it will destroy my nation because the Lord hates adultery. And now we'll go in and get into this a few more precepts. Let's see. We'll get into a few more precepts about the power of women and how if they are led wrong, how evil the things and the consequences of their behavior can be on the children of Israel, right? And so let's go into the story real quick before I bring out a couple more precepts. what happened? We go back to the foundation, right? You got King Von, you got Lil Durk, King Von getting out of jail. He's running around Chicago, being a demon, as he called himself, as they like to call themselves out there, getting into situations with cats, retaliating, being the going on offense, knocking cats down, a literal, alleged, I'll say this, alleged serial killer, man. That's what everyone is saying about King Von. That he was going out and taking lives. As we used to say in the Bay, he was a soul stripper, man. He was taking cats' souls away from Earth. And this cat, started to blow up and get famous in the industry for doing music with Lil Durk, right? And somewhere along the way, something happens where he, for whatever reason, started beefing with NBA Youngboy. And he started dissing him, talking about a song, saying he wasn't about this life, and he had a whole lot of cap in his raps. Next thing you know, things die down a little bit later. He posts a picture with NBA Youngboy's baby mother. Now, this is where things went left, right? And that's what's that movie? He said, you done messed up now, right? You done effed up now, right? Was that Minister Society? Interrogation room, you done effed up now. Like at that point, when he wanted to bring in this man's, the mother of his children, into the situation in order to have the ultimate disrespect, everything led into a spiral of events all the way up until last week, where we've got countless brothers that have died and countless brothers that have gone into the penitentiary because of him bringing this broad into play because she was attached to this other man. He violated Leviticus 19th chapter. He violated Exodus in the 20th chapter, thou shalt not commit adultery. He violated, you understand, these rules and regulations that were put upon our people in order to keep order in our community. And this is how you know the Bible is so glorious and is so right, because these things that they treated very seriously, to someone in modern society, it doesn't make sense. Like, okay, yeah, he slept with this woman. Who cares? That, like, that's normal. In America, okay, she was with him, now she's with him. Who cares? You gonna kill him? You gonna kill her and him? That's extremist. You're an extremist. You're in a cult. You believe something that is evil for you to do that, right? And that's the skill of our oppressor. His biggest skill was his ability to teach lies to the nations. His ability to lie to you and convince you of something that is wrong and make it sound right to you. And something that is right, make that sound wrong to you. And that's what our people hear. You saying you gonna go kill this dude and kill this woman because they sleeping with each other and she got another man? Like, nah, let her choose up. That's what they say. Let her choose, man. Don't worry about that. Ain't nothing wrong with that. She all of our girls. You had her turn. She for the streets. They make that seem like that's the righteous way to think about it, when in reality they're trying to really cover up their initial pain of being heartbroken, of loving a woman, and then having another man come and take her from you, or persuade her to go with him. So we have become broken down into accepting these things in our culture when it was never supposed to be there. And so this sister already had children with NBA YoungBoy, and so they may not be together, which is another thing that we learn from this culture because he was Israelite, he was following the laws of God. He would have never left her initially. That would have been his baby's mother. That would have been his wife because he laid with her. She would have known that. She would have not left him, right? And so there would have been no room for King Von to come in and take a picture with her and do this and to brag about that and cause conflict between you and her. Got your children looking at him crazy. You understand? And that reminds me of the brother Tupac, right? Me growing up, Tupac was one of my favorite rappers. You know, I can't deny it. But the things he was doing as far as dealing with other men's women, it was evil. You understand? And that evilness, it caught up to him as well, man. Boy, you want some water? Hold on. Go ahead, take this water and go over here. Come on. And he bragged about it. He turned it into one of the biggest diss records of all time. First words he said, he not even rhyming this. That's why I F your B. You understand? That was an evil thing to do. And so I think cats like King Von looked up to situations like that and thought this was some type of war tactic to get someone else's woman, to defame them, to disrespect them, to demoralize them, to attack their character. And that's what he did, but it all caught up to him. And it all caught up to Lil Durk, and it all caught up to everybody involved in these situations. But you know who it didn't catch up to? That woman. Those women that were involved in the beginning, it ain't caught up to them. The Lord saw the evil that would come from men doing these things, and he put in our laws to prevent all these situations. So they got to be put to death. They got to be stoned to death for doing a situation like this to let everybody know how serious this is. Because the young man is going to grow up without a father right now. Somebody is 7 years old, 6 years old, 8 years old, loves their father, needs their father, and their life is going to grow up with him in a cell all over abroad. Somebody's grandmother then had a heart attack because she got a call that her grandson was killed, that he was murdered, all behind some broad dealing with two different niggas, man. You know how evil that is? You got 5 people that's on a RICO investigation or whatever. 10 people. How many people have lost their lives because of this situation, man? Right? We're gonna go into First Ezra chapter 4, verse 30. This is a situation that we know how powerful women are in this world. There's only one thing that's more powerful than a woman. And the reason why these Negroes became weak behind a woman and crashed out, as everyone says, threw their whole lives away, is because they're missing this one element. Let's go to 2 Ezra chapter 4 and verse 1. Let's see. Matter of fact, go to a little bit further. It's a long story. The book of First Ezra chapter 3 and verse 1. Now when Darius reigned, he made a great feast unto all the subjects, and unto all his household, and to all the princes of Media and Persia, and to all the governors and captains and lieutenants that were under him, from India unto Ethiopia, of 127 provinces. And when they had eaten and drunken and being satisfied, were gone home, then Darius the king went into his bedchamber and slept. Soon after he awakened. Then 3 young men that were of the guard that kept the king's body spake one to another, let every one of us speak a sentence. He that shall overcome, and whose sentence shall seem wiser than the others, unto him shall the king Darius give gifts and great things in token of victory. Blah, 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 blah. And so they said, we're going to go and speak these things before this king, right? And he will let us know who is right and who's the wisest out of all of us. Okay. Verse 9, the book of First Ezra, chapter 3, verse 9. And said that when the king is risen, some will give him the writings of whose side the king, and the three princes of Persia shall judge the sentence. His sentence is the wisest. To him shall the victory be given, as was appointed. The first wrote, wine is the strongest. The second wrote, the king is the strongest. The third wrote, women are the strongest. But above all things, truth beareth away the victory. And so he made a declaration that all the young men, they come in and speak and explain the things that was just said to him. Blah, 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 all right. So the book of First Ezra, chapter 3, and verse 15. And sat him down in the royal seat of judgment, and the writings were read before them. And he said, call the young men, and they shall declare their own sentences. So they were called and came in. He said unto them, declare unto us your mind concerning the writings. Then began the first, who had spoken of the strength of wine. And he said thus, O ye men, how exceeding strong is wine! It causeth all men to err that drink it. It maketh the mind of the king and of the fatherless child to be all one, of the bondman and of the free man and the poor man and of the rich. It turn also every thought into jollity and mirth, so that a man remembereth neither sorrow nor death. Like he's saying, wine is strong because it causes all men to err that drink it. It maketh the mind of the king and of the father's child to be all one. The man that has come up and had the most opportunities, had the most possibility in life, all the things given to him, the king that was raised up this way to be a righteous leader, and someone at the bottom of the barrel, that the king, what did it say? It makes the king and the fatherless child be all one. We all hear this all the time. Who are who's most likely to go to prison? Single parent household child raised up with no father. Like the fatherless child is going to have a rough life, and this king is not supposed to have that life, but it's swapped out here, man, because he is going after strong drink, right? It makes you like a foolish cat, right? Verse 20. Okay, we got that a little bit. Let's drop down to chapter 4, chapter 4 and verse 1. Then the second that had spoken of the strength of the king began to say, O ye men, do not men excel in strength that bear rule over sea and land and all the things in them? But yet the king is more mighty, for he is Lord of all these things and have dominion over them. And whatsoever he commanded them, they do. So it says the king is more mighty because he controls the land, the seas. He has the power and authority to do all these things. So he's saying he's the one that is the most powerful on earth. Verse 4, if he bid them make war, the one against the other, they do it. If he send them out against the enemies, they go and break down mountains, walls, and towers. They slay and are slain, and transgress not the king's commandment. If they get the victory, they bring all to the king, as well the spoil as all things else. Likewise, for those that are no soldiers, and have not to do with wars, but use husbandry, when they have reaped again that which they had sown, they bring it to the king and compel one another to pay tribute unto the king. Right? And so that's the strength of That's the strength of wine. That's the strength of the king who was mighty, who has his dominion. This king has all this authority, and he should be mighty in the earth, right? Let's see, go down. The book of First Ezra, chapter 4, verse 13. Then the third who had spoken of women and of the truth, this was Zerubbabel, began to speak. O ye men, it is not the great king, nor the multitude of men, neither is it wine that excelleth. Who is it that ruleth them, or who hath the lordship over them? Are they not women? Women have borne the king and all the people that bear rule by sea and land. Is it not women that rule over all of the men because they birth the men? Aren't they more valuable because men are willing to go out and do all these things, and it would break that down for women? Verse 14, O ye men, it is not, it's like verse 15, women have borne the king and all the people that bear rule by sea and land. Even of them came they, and they nourished them up that planted the vineyards from whence the wine cometh. So you couldn't even, without the women, you couldn't have any wine. You couldn't have had the king. So the woman is stronger than all of them. It's kind of like chess. Like she's able to move all across the board. These are the pieces that queen is very important, right? In the game of chess. Now, the book of First Ezra chapter 4, verse 17. These also make garments for men. These bring glory unto men, and without women cannot men be. Yea, and if men have gathered together gold and silver or any other goodly thing, do they not love a woman which is comely in favor and beauty? And letting all those things go, do they not gape? And even with open mouth fix their eyes fast on her? And have not all men more desire unto her than unto silver or gold or any goodly thing whatsoever? Like such a beautiful and bad female. Like brothers got to remember that feeling of beautiful and gorgeous sister. These men, right? Doesn't matter how much money you have, no matter how much things you have, they gape and look at this woman and desire her more than money and gold. Like that's what King Von did. Or that's what NBA Youngboy did. However you want to play it. Like if King Von's just trying to disrespect this man, which is a lack of brotherhood, which is totally evil and ungodly. But NBA Youngboy, he has a woman that she's not even dealing with him anymore. But the fact that he's attached to her with his child, his ego was attacked, and he's ready to go to war with this brother over this situation, man. Over that amount of disrespect, right? And so there's nothing new under the sun, right? So it says, and have not all men more desire unto her than unto silver or gold or any goodly thing whatsoever? A man leaveth his own father that brought him up, and his own country, and cleaveth unto his wife. Who's more important? Your father that raised you, your mother that changed your diapers, or your wife? Your wife is more important. That's what's going to happen. He said that sticketh not to spend. So 2 Ezra chapter 4 and verse 21, he sticketh not to spend his life with his wife, and remembereth neither father nor mother nor country. By this also you must know that women have dominion over you. Do ye not labor and toil and give and bring all to the woman? Yea, a man taketh his sword and goeth his way to rob and to steal, to sail upon the sea and upon rivers, and looketh upon a lion and goeth in darkness. And when he has stolen, spoiled, and robbed, he bringeth into his love. Like that's the same situation, man. This brother NBA Youngboy done been in prison, been out of prison, caught cases, got into shootouts, had to possibly unalive people, seen people unalive around him. All of those things he's done in his life, it was all for this woman, all for this broad, right? All for his first love. Anybody mess with her, he's willing to lose all of that, or he's willing to do anything to get these things to give to her, right? So who was in charge? She's running NBA Youngboy. This woman, Asian Doll, is running King Von. Like, that's what is controlling these brothers' lives, right? Verse 25, wherefore a man loveth his wife better than father or mother. Verse 26, yea, many there be that have run out of their wits for women and become servants for their sakes. Many also have perished, have erred, and sinned for women. Good night. Now, the brother had some form of brotherhood. Lil Durk had some form of brotherhood for his brother, King Von. So he wants to get vengeance for him. So much so, he doesn't have any brotherhood for black people. Islam doesn't teach that. His brotherhood is only supposed to be for fellow Muslims. And the kicker is, Quando Rondo has converted to Islam. I don't even know if that's a way, how they used to say, what's that? If you're scared, go to church. So, I don't even know if Quando Rondo has become a Muslim just to keep dirt off of his, you know what, man, off his back. But at some point in time, Quando Rondo is saying that he's a Muslim, and Lil Durk is saying he's a Muslim. He should not be out here trying to harm this brother because they're supposed to be brothers. But that doesn't matter because Islam is just musty Christianity. That's Captain Katazar said. It's the same thing as being a Christian. You can believe in Jesus, white Jesus, and you can still go out and kill and alive other black people. So this brother trying to have brotherhood for his brother, he went out and did this right here. It says what? The book of 1 Ezra chapter 4 and verse 26. Yea, many there be that have run out of their wits for women and become servants for their sakes. Whether he knows it or not, he should know what this is about. He's making it about King Von, but King Von crashed out over a woman. So I know Cass got this for right or for wrong, no matter what. I'm riding with you. Nah, man, he should have been like, you know what? Von was tripping. If the Bible and in the Quran said that you should truly love your nation of people and forgive your nation of people, then he would have said, you know what? Von was wrong. He shouldn't. If the Quran was teaching you shouldn't deal with another man's wife, he would have said, you know what? The Quran says you cannot sleep with another man's wife. Von was wrong. What happened to him was justice from the Lord or Allah. And it's over. We're not sliding for Von. We're not riding for Von. He was out of order dealing with this man's woman. You understand? He was out of order. This woman was out of order. NBA Youngboy is out of order because he's going to war over somebody else's wife now because that's not his wife no more. If she done slept with Von, then that ain't his wife. Von was wrong for sleeping with someone else's wife. He's wrong for going to war with Von over Von's wife now, if that's the case, right? And so all of this stuff is foolishness. None of it is promoted in the Bible, right? What is this person saying? You'll forgive and repent. Hadith and Quran says to follow the teachings of the Jews. Revelations 13 and 10. What is the angle of what you're saying? The Hadith in the Quran says to follow the teachings of the Jews. Yeah, I don't understand any of that, man. The Hadith in the Quran tells them to follow the teachings of the Jews, but the Bible says this book is only for the Israelites. So the Quran is lying either way. Even if they trying to submit to what the Bible teaches, this book is not for you. The word holy means separate. This is a separate book. This is only for niggas. This ain't for Arabs. This is why Abraham sent Ishmael away, because he's not the chosen people, right? What is the precept on that? And then what is he trying to pull out, man? It says, um, where is it at? Right here. Genesis 26. Romans chapter 9, verse 7. Hope this cat ain't on here trying to talk about the Quran. The book of Romans chapter 9, verse 7. Neither because they are the seed of Abraham are they all children, but in Isaac shall thy seed be called. Just because you're the children of Abraham don't mean you're the Lord's chosen people, right? Just because you're the children of Abraham does not mean you're the Lord's chosen people. All that means is you're the children of Abraham. There's a certain blessing that was made for them, but you are not the chosen people of God. So it doesn't matter if the Quran says follow the teaching of the Jews. If you're not a Jew, then it doesn't apply to you. You can follow and believe whatever you want to believe. But we're just saying that Black people, Latino people, and Native Americans cannot follow the Quran because it's not for our people. Revelations 13 and 10. What did he got? Let's see what he got. See if he a troll or what's he trolling about, man? Just dropping precepts. He just leading the captivity shall go. Okay, that's random. I don't know what's the point of that. We know that's what the Muslims do. They lead into captivity. They had people on the trans-Saharan slave trade, took millions of Black people into slavery. You understand? So yeah, the Lord's gonna put them in chains too for the crimes they've done against His people. Let's see one more precept. I ain't gonna keep chasing this cat's precept. What is your points? Romans 9 and 4. Okay, yeah. Who are Israelites to whom pertains the adoption, the glory, and the covenants? Yeah, we know that. That's important. If you are saying what we're saying, then Most High in Christ. But if you're trying to, go against what the Israelites are teaching, then the Lord be with you, man. You can find out the same way that Dirk found out that the Islam in the Quran is doo-doo paper, man. It's not for the children of Israel, right? So let's go back to where we was at. We'll finish this and we'll close out the class. So we'll start it one more time. The book of First Ezra chapter 4 and verse 26. Yea, many there be that have run out of their wits for women. They lost their goddamn mind over women, over this broad, whose box we know cannot be worth it, man. How many cats, captains, snitching? They didn't got out of jail. They didn't got caught up into something they ain't even want to tell. Now they got to wear a wire, OTF jam. He's telling on Dirt. He's telling on the whole gang. All of this is to get these cats caught up who are crashing out over this broad, man. It's ridiculous, man. Many there have been, they suck it. Yea, many there be that have run out of their wits for women and become servants for their sakes. Now you are living in the penitentiary, man. You are living the life of a servant. You might have to go and work doing free labor, 30, 40 cents an hour, when you was getting shows getting $500,000 a night to pull up and rap for a few hours. This is ridiculous, man. A way to live. You done lost your goddamn mind, man. And become servants for their sakes. Verse 27. Many also have perished, have erred, and sinned for women. And now do ye not believe me? Is not the king great in his power? Do not all regions fear to touch him? Right? Do not all these cats fear King Von? Do not all these cats in the streets in Baton Rouge fear NBA young boy? Wherever he touch down, wherever he go? Yet did I see him and Apame, the king's concubine, the daughter of the admirable Bardacus, sitting at the right hand of the king, and taking the crown from the king's head and setting it upon her own head. She also struck the king with her left hand. She done slapped this cat in front of everybody, man. She playful, laughing, take the crown off of his head, disrespect him, you know. And that on a sidebar, that reminds me of when the brother, I think he's dealing with Simone Biles, sisters got mad because he said he was the prize, right? And then she went into the Olympics and got all these gold medals, and he had a picture where he got all her gold medals around his neck and biting the gold, and the sisters in the comments is irate. Like he didn't do nothing to earn that gold medal, none of that. Like he don't deserve to have nothing around his neck. They want to disrespect him, defame him because he's celebrating with his woman. But the same thing goes, like these women didn't do anything to gain this power, but she took his gold medal, his crown, put it on her head like she did something. Like what they used to say back in the days, you wasn't with me shooting in the gym. She's acting like she conquered these nations and made herself the king. And she disrespected him by slapping him in front of everybody. Right? Uh, Verse 31. And yet for all this the king gaped and gazed upon her with open mouth. If she laughed upon him, he laughed also. But if you took any displeasure at him, the king was fain to flatter, that she might be reconciled to him again. Verse 32. O ye men, how can it be but women should be strong, seeing they do thus? Then the king and the princes looked one upon another, so he began to speak of the truth. O ye men, are not women strong? So he's still going on. He's saying, now they starting to believe what I'm saying. They start talking to each other like, damn, yeah, he's right. These women, they might be powerful. It's true. We've seen it. We've all seen these situations happen, right? And then he goes into break down the truth. All the earth called upon the truth. Verse 30, verse 33. Then the king and the princes looked one upon another, so he began to speak of the truth. O ye men, are not women strong? Great is the earth, high is the heaven, swift is the sun in his course. For he compasseth the heavens round about, and fetcheth his course again to his own place in one day. Is he not great that maketh these things? Therefore great is the truth, and stronger than all these things. All the earth called upon the truth, and the heaven blesseth it. All works shake and tremble at it, and with it is no unrighteous thing. Wine is wicked, the king is wicked, women are wicked, all the children of men are wicked, and such are all their wicked works, and there is no truth in them. In their unrighteousness all they shall perish. As for the truth, it endureth, and is always strong. It liveth and conquereth forevermore. Like this is the brothers in the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge under command of General Yohanan. That we coming out and telling you that Islam is a garbage religion, but you gonna follow Lil Durk and you gonna put on the kufi and you gonna say all your prayers and hadiths and read all of that garbage, and you're gonna go to prison. You're going to get murdered in the streets. Allah cannot save you because his laws were not made for you. He doesn't have the laws of God to teach you in order to follow the right way that you need to live. Like even in Islam, they follow a little bit. They say we can't eat pork. They don't eat pork, right? But what do? They eat shrimp, crab, and lobster. They didn't get this divine law from the Most High God. And this is why they cannot teach you the right way to live. Because where they got their laws is stolen and copywritten from us, but it didn't come from the Lord. So they missed out the key important things. They end up saying you can beat your wife, you can do this, you can do that, you can't drink alcohol, all these things that the Lord didn't have as a sin, or all these sins that the Lord did have, they're allowed to do, right? And so that's the key right there, man. The Israelite School of Universal and Practical Knowledge, following the laws of God, has the wise way. So, like, let me go and read that part one more time. That's an important part. It says, that was important. That was heavy right there. It said, I'm in the wrong. First Ezra chapter 4. See, if I may. The book of First Ezra chapter 4 and verse 37. Wine is wicked, the king is wicked, right? Women are wicked, all the children of men are wicked, and such are all their wicked works, and there is no truth in them. In their unrighteousness also they shall perish. As for the truth, it endureth and is always strong. It liveth and conquereth forevermore. These brothers are not going to crash out over no broad because of the laws of God. These brothers are not going to get caught up in no RICO, in no federal case. They're not going to, do no murder for hire. None of these things that are being alleged that are coming out for no woman because of the truth. The truth endures. You want to survive life. You want to make it through things. You want to better the people around you. You got to come into the truth. That's why I wish brothers like, Dirk could have came into the truth, because they would have changed their lives. They would have known better that I cannot behave in this manner. I cannot continue doing these things. I can't pop perks and say I'm a man of God. I can't slut out our women and say I'm a man of God or of Allah. I cannot do these things. I cannot put money on another brother's head. I cannot not forgive my brother and say that I'm a man of the Lord. These are the laws of God. I have to forgive my brother because it says it in Leviticus 19th chapter. I have to tell my brothers, if you commit an adultery and you're doing this with another man's wife, you're in the wrong. You should be put to death, not him. We're going to go to war with NBA Youngboy because you're sleeping with his woman? Nah. The only reason you shouldn't be put to death is because of the mercy of our King, Yahweh Shah Mashiach. And you should not take that mercy and forgiveness lightly. You should not do that or deal with another man's wife ever again. And you should pray and ask for forgiveness. But what do these cats do now? They don't do that. They see another cat that's with the brother that's mad about you dealing with his woman, and you want to start a fight with him and them get knocked down, man. I love Von like the next brother. I love Dirk. I love all these cats' music, and their careers followed them for a very long time. It's a sad situation. We don't glorify the death of our people or the destruction of our people going into the penitentiary, becoming slaves. But with that said, in order for our other brothers to be saved, we got to show where they went wrong. In order for us to reach out to other brothers before they go there and think that you are becoming, because you might really be searching for something that's righteous. When you hear them speak that Arabic and they dress in the different clothes, in your mind and your spirit, you're like, this is something different than Christianity. This is something better, more holy, more righteous. Look at them. They pray 5 times a day. They get on their knees. They submit themselves. It means to submit. They do all these things. Alhamdulillah, inshallah, blah, 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 blah. They do all these things and make them appear righteousness like they're righteous, but in reality, they are just as disgusting as anybody else on the streets. if not worse, because they're supposed to be the leaders. If you're able to see that and come into the truth, man, and change your life, that's what would have happened. We would not have gone down this path, man. So we got to come out and tell our brothers about these things and what's wrong about how they're looking at life so that they don't go down the same path as these men. So with that, I'm going to close out this class and say, Shalom, Yahweh Shem Yahshai, about to come to all the brothers, Yahweh Shem Yahshai, to all the sisters. All right. Class dismissed.